Hi, I'm Daniel.
And I'm Zach.
And welcome back to our channel. Today,
this is not a Disney video.
So, I hope everybody's holding up well in this shelter-in-place kind of situation that we find ourselves in. If you are a normal subscriber to this channel, you know that we talk about Disney pins and Disney pin trading. However, this is not a normal video. Both Zach and I work in the healthcare industry, in the healthcare technology industry, and we wanted to do something to explain what to us is a relatively simple thing because it's something that we do all the time, but to other people maybe something that's a little bit technical to do. And we're talking about, of course, video conferencing. I don't know why I said of course. There was no of course in there, but we're talking about video conferencing, specifically video conferencing for telemedicine.
Note that while we are specifically talking about this in a medical context, this could also just be a general how-to if you have never done a video conference before in your life.
Yeah.
So
there's tons of free software out there, and you can hang out with your friends during this time of shelter at home. You can still have virtual cocktail parties, whatever, all
game
over
nights.
this. Yeah, game nights, all kind of things that you can do here. But we wanted to talk specifically about telemedicine today because we deal in the ambulatory healthcare market, and that is a lot of our customers are asking for that kind of information. That being said, this is just the two of us offering some information here, stuff that you can freely find on the internet. So as with everything, make sure you research it before you do anything. Now, normally, to do telemedicine, you have to have very specific kinds of software that take into account different encryption levels, different security measures that are in place, primarily due to HIPAA.
So this is a temporary solution that we are presenting because in this global health crisis in which we find ourselves, standards have been relaxed.
Yeah, the HIPAA standards have been relaxed, which means that you can now use regular off-the-shelf software to do telemedicine sessions with your patients. The beauty of this, of course, is that it allows you to still be able to see your patients, still be able to operate as a small business, which is something that is desperately needed right now.
The first thing you need is equipment.
Yes. You don't need a lot of equipment, but you are going to want to, inherent in video conferencing is video, right? You're going to want to be able to use a camera so that the patient can see you, and the patient presumably will use a camera, probably on their cell phone, that you can see them. Now, hold on. I have a regular laptop here. So if you have a regular laptop that has a camera built in, you'll find it right up at the top of the screen right there. There'll be a little camera there that's built in. So a lot of laptops already have a camera and a microphone built into them. But if you don't,
you can go on your online retailer of choice and buy a USB webcam.
Now, a lot of people, this particular one here is the Logitech C290, I think it is. This is the webcam, the workhorse of the world. It is usually suggested as to the webcam that you should get because it's super easy to install, it's super easy to use, especially if you're on Windows. The problem with it is that this camera is normally under $100, but since this crisis has started, that price has been shot through the roof.
Because if you are still working, you are probably more than likely working from home.
Yeah. Yeah, like this is a picture of a graph right now, the pricing graph of it. You can see that it was down below $70 just a couple of months ago. It is now up in the close to $300 range to get this camera off of Amazon. That's a bad choice. Don't spend $300 for this camera. There are other USB cameras like the Logitech Brio, which is a 4K webcam that's normally in the $250 range. That is also going for around $289. So if you're in a situation where you need to shell out money to buy a webcam, that would be my suggestion, would be to go with the Logitech Brio, because the price difference that it's going for now as compared to normal is much less than the C290. So if you want to go that USB route, go there. You also may have a digital camera laying around, or a digital video camera laying around that will work as a webcam. Check the owner's manual. I know a lot of Canon and Nikon cameras have USB connections on them. They can function as a webcam. That's something that you might want to check into. They would go into either your USB port or a Fire port if you had it, if you're on Mac. And I guess we should also mention Mac. You had a Mac, right?
I had a Mac. They have built-in microphones and cameras, at least the iMac that I did. Did.
So if you have an iMac that has a built-in camera and microphone, you could obviously use that. And speaking of microphones, that's the next thing we want to talk to you about. So there's a couple of different ways. Like this particular webcam here has the microphones built into it right there. The laptop that I showed you earlier has microphones built into it there. And if you're going to use built-in microphones, you're going to want to use a pair of earbuds to keep the echo down, because when they talk, it's going to come out of the speakers, and then your microphone will then pick that up. And modern software usually does some adjustment to that to keep it down from being too annoying, but it does cause a break in the conversation, because it causes you to what you cut off there. Can you remind me? So just a simple pair of earbuds that you could plug into your laptop or your PC. One thing about the earbuds is you want to look at the ends of your plug earbuds. I'll take a picture of this and drop it in. If it's got 2 rings on it, it is just the earbuds. So it's just the earbuds. So it's just the hearing pieces of it. If it's got 3 rings on it, this is for an earbud that has a built-in microphone, like the iPod or the iPod. Like the iPhone earbuds that have the little microphone that's kind of that little square piece that hangs on your thing. So you will be using that microphone if you plug that in. And the earphone jacks, the headphone jacks on most computers and laptops, any of them sold within the last 5 years, are smart. They will know whether you're plugging in a 2-ring or a 3-ring plug there. So just most of the software has settings, so you can actually tell it which microphone you want to use. So if someone's saying, I can't hear you, it sounds like you're across the room and you're wearing an earbud that has a microphone right there, just make sure in the software you go and switch your microphone to use that particular microphone. And make sure that you wear headphones or earbuds or whatever. Like what we're using right now is another option that you can go with. We're using a Yeti Blue microphone. No, Blue is the name of the company. We're using a Blue Yeti microphone, which we have on a tripod, like on a what is it you call that?
Like an arm?
Yeah, on a we have it on a mic stand, but it's coming out in front of us there. That's just right underneath the camera range right there, so that you can't see it on camera. But that's what we're talking into right now is a USB microphone. It also has a headphone port built right into it, so a headphone jack built right into it, so you could plug your headphones or your earbuds in right there. All right, enough about that. Now I know what you're thinking. You're thinking to yourself,
can't I just use my phone?
Can't you just use your phone? Or can't I just use my tablet? They have cameras and microphones built right into them, right? I could just, do the little thing right there. I got the microphone, I got the camera, I can plug in my earbuds. And you can, other than you're kind of want to have your hands free. Because if you're conducting a regular interview with a patient here, you're going to want to be able to take notes, and you may want to grab something or demonstrate something to them. So you want to have your hands free. But you can still use your camera or your phone or your tablet if you get one of these little guys or something similar. I got this on Amazon a couple of years ago. It's just a little stand. It's got notches in it there. I'll drop a close-up picture in here. But yeah, basically it's just designed so that it can hold, your tablet right there on your desk so that it'll face up at you. And then just kind of watch your camera angle, right? You kind of want to have a straight on angle. Otherwise,
you don't want to be trying to talk to a patient and all they see is up your nostrils.
Yeah, you don't want people to see up your nose.
Unless you're the patient and that's where your problems are.
That's true. The other thing that we want to talk about there is lighting, just real generally about lighting. Now, we normally do a YouTube video here, so we're kind of set up well for lighting in this particular room, right? We have lights that come up from above us. We have lights that come from the side of us. We have lights in the background, kind of a thing that gives, a depth and feel. You don't need to go there. But what you do want to avoid is sitting anywhere near like a window right behind you so that you kind of look like an FBI informant with like the backlight and they can't see your face. They just see a silhouette of you. You want to make sure that the light is hitting your face so that they can see you. And you can do that super easily with just like a regular desk lamp, whatever. Just kind of face it up and face it towards you. Or just make sure that you're not right up against a window. Or if you are up against a window, pull the shades, pull the blinds. Just normal things like that. You also kind of want to make sure that there's like a neutral background so that you kind of stand out more against the background. Like we can get away with this because of the lighting in here, right? Because we have it set up to do that. But yeah, if you had diplomas and things up on your wall, maybe that's okay. But just make sure that you are the center of the attention, not the background.
As such, make sure that there are other things are not in frame.
That's right. They've relaxed the HIPAA laws for video conferencing, but they haven't gotten rid of them. So make sure there's not like a big whiteboard back behind you with all kind of PHI over it that's going out over the camera, right? So. Okay, so you have a camera, you have a microphone, you have your earbuds or headphones. I can't talk today for some reason. So you're pretty much ready to go, right? All you need now is software, and there is a ton of software that you can use. There is Teams. Microsoft Teams is available. There's GoToMeeting, which is available. There's Skype, which is available. Google Hangouts Meet, which is available. And then the one that everybody's talking about today, which is
Zoom.
Zoom came along in 2011 and has kind of caught the world by storm most recently because of its ease of use. It is a very easy piece of software to use. And because of that, that is the one we're going to talk about today and just kind of do a brief demonstration on how to use Zoom. But I want to point out that no matter what software you use, everything we've set up to this point is still valid. You're going to need a camera, you're going to need a microphone, and you're going to need earbuds. And then make sure that your lighting is okay. Those are just the basics of doing a video conference.
And let's also, going forward, no matter which software you choose, they're all basically going to kind of work in the same way. You're going to set up a meeting and you're going to attend that meeting.
Right. And I guess the reason that we have chosen to talk to you about Zoom is because it does lend itself very well to doing a workflow of having meetings set up and then you just click down the meetings that you've already scheduled without having to do a lot of extra running around. Some of the other solutions, Skype, Google Hangouts, Meet Me, don't have a scheduling component to them. So you would have to initiate the call and put in the patient's email address. You'd have to do a lot of technical things right at the time that you were going to do the call. Zoom, and to a certain extent, Microsoft Teams will let you set that up ahead of time. And when I say a certain to account, is Microsoft Teams works really, really well if you're an Office 365 user because it ties in with your whole scheduling in Outlook. If you don't have Office 365, Teams does not provide you with any kind of scheduling capabilities. So that's a downfall there. So that is why we are sticking with Zoom.
But hey, you may be asking yourself, I've seen a lot of things recently about Zoom security issues.
Zoom security issues? I've never heard of such a thing. So I think I was reading an article the other day that Zoom's user base has gone from about 12 million downloads to 200 million downloads over the past month or so. So yeah, there's a whole lot more people looking and using Zoom today, and they're finding some minor security flaws. Okay, so let's talk about some of these Zoom problems real fast, things that you might have heard in the headline. Number one was Zoom bombing, which sounds fun, doesn't it? As we'll show you a little bit later in the workflow section of this, to get the other party involved in your teleconference, you're going to send them a link. Zoom can handle open teleconferences, can have up to 100 people in them. And a lot of schools are using Zoom to teach classes. And when they publish those links, sometimes those links get out to nefarious people, to griefers, whatnot, and so you end up with people popping into your conference because anyone that has that link can pop into the conference. There's a couple of things you can do in the settings of Zoom to keep that from happening, but I'm going to tell you now that for this application, for doing a one-on-one with a patient or even a couple with the patient's family at the same time, you're not going to have that problem. You're not going to be sharing that link around. So someone coming in, dropping in and griefing you is going to be very...
As long as you don't disseminate the link to everyone
Yeah. When you create the appointments in Zoom or create the meetings in Zoom, each one that you create will have a different ID. So even if one ID got compromised, it would not compromise all of them. The second thing is password phishing or Windows login phishing, there's a built-in chat room inside of the Zoom video conference that just like anything, people can post a link that can be a malicious link that will compromise your password and allow you might be tricked into giving out some credentials that you might not necessarily want to give out. The real easy thing there is just don't use the Zoom chat. You're talking to a patient one-on-one here. You're not going to need to type text back and forth. And if you are, don't click on the link. Right? Just regular, normal advice there. Don't click on a link from someone you don't know or that you don't know where it's going onto. There's also some various stories you saw about the installation procedure on Macintosh, that it was spoofing a root user when it was installing. This is just something that the company did to make it easier to install. They've already acknowledged that that was something that they shouldn't have done. They've already fixed it, by the way. So it's no longer even the case. And I think that's the problem with all of the things around Zoom is that the company is fixing them. They're committed to getting them fixed. In fact, they've pulled all of their programmers off of doing new features in order to concentrate on just getting these security issues fixed. However, most of the security issues are not something that you need to worry about in this particular context. Right underneath this is a little thing we like to call the doobly-doo on YouTube. It's the little info box underneath this video. I'll put a link there to the article that tells about the different security problems on Zoom that you can look at. I think you will agree with me as you read through them. Most of them are not applicable to this type of application because these are just private meetings that are being set up. These are not big public standard meetings that are being set up.
That being said, we are advising one way specifically to protect yourself from all of these.
Correct.
And also not make your office have a bunch of headaches.
Correct. So remember earlier when we said that Zoom, we wanted to tell you about Zoom because it has the best workflow. Well, this kind of feeds into that. What we are suggesting that you do is to come up with a brand new email address that's only going to be used for this application. So what you're going to do is you're going to set up a new Gmail account and then register for Zoom under that account, like under that brand new account. So let's say that you run the
Dr. Smith Medical Clinic.
The Dr. Smith Medical Clinic. I love those people. They're great. Let's say that you run the Dr. Smith Medical Clinic. And so what I want you to do is just go over to Google, go to Gmail, Yahoo, any of the online mail systems, and create a new email account. drsmithmedical@gmail.com. If that's not available, drsmithmedicalvideo@gmail.com. If that's not available, Dr. Smith Video Telemedicine@gmail.com. Some weird combination of things that you want to get set up. Don't worry about how long the email address is or even how complex it is to use because you're not actually going to be giving this out to patients. You're going to be emailing patients from that account, so they're never going to need to use that email address to come back to you. And the beauty of this is that you can use that email address and login with your office staff. So your normal appointment person can still go through and set up appointments in the normal way that they do. The only additional piece that they're going to do now is that they're going to use the Zoom software to schedule those appointments as meetings in Zoom. You would be logged into Zoom on that same account, and as those meetings get scheduled, you will see them on your upcoming meeting list. You can both be logged in at the same time. You can't both be making video conferences at the same time, but they can absolutely be creating new meetings or changing the scheduling of meetings around while you're doing video conferencing. So it gives you some sense of normalcy to the workflow that's already happening maybe in your office.
The link in the email that you send to the patient will contain download instructions that are tailored for the device you're on.
Great. So Zoom will work on, there's a cell phone app for it for Android and iOS. There's tablet apps for it, obviously, because Android, iOS. There's apps for it on Macintosh, and there's apps for it on Windows. I think there's even one for Linux, if I'm not mistaken. The point is that it'll work pretty much anywhere, which is why it's become the darling of video conferencing lately, is its ease of use. So as that invitation, if you send the meeting invitation to the patient in their email, whatever device they open it on, there will be a link for them to get the software installed from that email. It will figure out what device they're on, and it'll give them a very easy way to install that software, which means that you don't have to play tech support to a bunch of patients, which is always good. And that's also, if you don't want to use Zoom, if the security risks are something that you feel are unacceptable and you want to use another product, make sure that product is something that can be used on cell phones, tablets, whatever. You want to make sure that the patient can see you. One of the additional features of Zoom is that for patients that don't have a cell phone, that don't have any kind of video camera or microphone, is that it will automatically provide you with a phone number to do this meeting. So you can fire up your computer, you're doing with your headphones and your microphone, and they can just call in. So you can't see their video, but you can absolutely talk to them on the same equipment, just as if you were talking to them on the phone. So you'll still have your hands free. You can still take notes. So that is nice right there. You don't have to do a whole different workflow for someone that doesn't have a camera or a microphone to be set up. Right? I think that's it. I think everything that we've said so far, I think is good. It's good. I think it's good. And now we get to the point that we're going to show you something real quick. So
just a very, very quick demonstration on creating a meeting and launching a meeting within Zoom.
Right. This is not to be considered any kind of exhaustive, tutorial on it. There's tons of places online that will help you with that. And there's a ton of features in Zoom that we will not even be touching on. We're just going to kind of take the defaults and just in order to get it up and running, just to kind of show you the ease of use of it. So we're going to do that right now. Zoom has a website. It's zoom.us. We're going to go there. This is where you would actually sign up for your Zoom account. It is free to sign up. When you do sign up, you'll notice that you can use your existing Google account. So after you've set up your new Google account, that's what I would advise that you do, is sign in with your Google account. I already have an account set up, so I'm not going to go through that process right now. And this is what we're looking at right here, is the free basic personal meeting plan. This is going to allow you to host unlimited one-to-one meetings, and you have a time limit of 40 minutes on group meetings, which means if you invite more than one person into a meeting, that meeting can't go longer than 40 minutes. It'll give you some limited support, and it'll give you a bunch of different features here. If you feel like, you know what, I need more than 40 minutes, or this is just something that I really want to have more support on from the company, you can join the Pro rank here for $14.99 a month. And that is, you can cancel it. There's no contract here. So it's $14.99. You just join and you can cancel the next month or as soon as this is over. And this is what it looks like. This is the Zoom software that runs on your computer. So there's a couple of different things here. As I told you before, it's fine to be signed into this multiple times. So your front office people can be signed into it, and they can create new meetings, right? So if they wanted to schedule a meeting, you click on this button right here. This is going to allow us to schedule a meeting. If you just wanted to make an ad hoc new meeting, you can click on this button to create an ad hoc new one. And joining, it means that someone else sent you a link and you want to join into it. But we're primarily going to look at this guy right here, this schedule, and then this tab up here called meetings. And this feeds right into our workflow. So when we click on schedule, we're going to now create a schedule, create an appointment for our patient. We're going to use Zach as our guinea pig. So this is going to be Zach's appointment. Today is April 5th. It's 5:59 p.m. right now. So yeah, we'll set it for 6 p.m. And the duration is going to be 0 hours and 15 minutes maybe. And we'll set it a little 15-minute meeting right there. We're going to let it generate the meeting ID automatically. This is the thing earlier where people could do the Zoom bombing. So you want to let it generate its ID automatically so that it makes a brand new one. This password gets encrypted and put onto the link. So you want to keep that setting the same. You want to make sure that your video is on and the participant's video is on. And then here you're going to, if you don't want to offer the telephone option, if you don't want someone to be able to call in with a telephone, there's no additional cost to that. You can just force this to be computer audio only. We'll leave it to both. And then this is going to let us set it up on our calendar. We'll just do that. Other calendars, I think it's going to pop us to a web page that lets us save that on our calendar. Enable waiting room, probably don't want to do that because that gets them into a waiting room and then you have to automatically bring them in. You want to just let it be so that they can join before you. So do enable join before host. You don't want to mute anybody. You don't want to
force them to like have to sign into anything, and you probably don't want to automatically record the meeting, although you could. And then now we're just going to schedule it. So what this does is it generates this invitation to the meeting right now. So I'm inviting you to scheduled Zoom meeting. The topic is Zach's appointment. This is the time. And then this is the link that's going to, if they click on, that they're going to be able to do. If they chose to use the phone number, they could call either this number, a New York number, or Chicago number here, or I think any of these particular, whichever one is closer to them. They can call these phone numbers, and then they use this meeting ID and password to get into it. It has a really nice option right here that you can just copy that to the clipboard. So copy to the clipboard. So if you were just talking to the patient on the phone and you've scheduled this appointment, you literally just copy this to the clipboard, bring up your email program. So from our standpoint here, like that would be what the front desk person would do. They would be constantly be scheduling these appointments for as many days out as you wanted them to be. When you sit down at this, you would basically click on meetings, and you would see here's all the upcoming meetings that are coming today. We see right here we have Zach's appointment, and it's going to be listed over on this side. And if for some reason that you needed the invitation again to get the link or whatever, you can pull that up from right here. Right? This still has all that same information that was just there. If you needed to make some changes to this appointment, like, you know what, I need to change it, I need to move it to a different time or whatever, you can edit that meeting, or you can just delete it if you wanted to create a new one. But primarily what you're going to want to do here is just start the meeting. So by starting the it's going to not do my camera. Oh, you know what? I may have my camera set wrong. Yeah, okay. Because I am recording this on another screen system, it's not going to let me use my camera right now. But trust me, this 10-year-old picture of me will just have to suffice as me talking to Zach right there. Hello, Zach. How are you today? Oh, you aren't? Well, then you should probably go and see a doctor for that. Anyway, so this is how I would talk to Zach, and then anything that we did right there. Once we're done with this, we would end the meeting. Thank you, Zach. I hope you're feeling better. All right, I'm going to click on end the meeting. Now this ends the meeting for all, which means it's going to kick him out of the meeting. If you were leaving, you just wanted to leave the meeting, like you hook them up with like a specialist, or you brought someone else in that video call, you could just leave the meeting without ending it, and they could continue on in that meeting while you were gone. That is Zoom. Like I said, a very bare bones tutorial for it, and we hope that that helps.
Okay, so hopefully you have learned something here. If not, thank you for sitting around this long and listening to us talk about stuff. We really appreciate it. Normally, we give out all kinds of things at the end of the video, you know, like, hey, make sure you give us a thumbs up, make sure you smash the subscribe button, whatever.
I don't think we've ever said that, and I don't think we ever will.
However, like I said before, we're normally a Disney Pins channel here, so this is probably, not going to be, you're not probably going to stick around here for very long, but we do thank you very much for watching, and we hope that we gave you some information that you can use. If you are one of our normal subscribers and you know someone that could use this information, please share the link with them. Let them know.
If you have questions, comments, etc., there's a whole comment section for that where you can ask them. Yeah. And if we don't know the answer, we'll try and find it for you.
We'll try to find somebody that will know the answer. So use the comment section down below if you want to ask anything, and we will try to find you an answer for that. Like I said before, the links to all the articles and the links to our emails and whatnot are in the doobly-doo right down below this video. So thank you very much for watching. Stay safe, and have a great day.